Imagine graduating with your MBA, walking across the stage with your diploma in hand, only to glance at the audience and see nothing but empty seats where your family should have been. That was my life. 4 years, I was the forgotten daughter, the one who didn't matter. But when my grandparents left me a $2 million estate, my family thought they could swoop in and steal it. What they didn't know, I was finally ready for them. If you've ever been underestimated, betrayed, or treated like you were invisible, you'll feel every second of this story. My name is Claire Mercer, and I grew up as the shadow in my family. I was the practical one, the resilient one. My sister Belle, 3 years younger, was the golden child. She got dance trips, photo shoots, family vacations. Me, I got a store-bought cake and a reminder to toughen up. At 16, I watched Belle get whisked off to New York for a dance workshop while I blew out candles alone. At my high school graduation, my parents arrived late because Belle had a photo shoot. Even when I won a scholarship, I sat at that dinner table alone because they didn't think it was worth showing up. So, when I walked across that MBA graduation stage, diploma in hand, I should have expected the row reserved for my family to be empty. But hope is a cruel thing. For just a second, I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd show up this time. They didn't. And yet, as I stepped outside into the crisp spring air, diploma under my arm, my phone rang with a call that would change everything. Ms. Mercer, this is Elliot Brandt, attorney for the Lewis estate. You've been named the sole heir to your grandparents' property and investments. Current value? Roughly $2 million. $2 million. But more than the money, it was the choice. My grandparents had deliberately chosen me. I remembered weekends mowing their lawn, fixing their porch, rolling pie crust with my grandmother, listening to the ocean from their porch. My parents and Belle rarely visited. But I was there. I showed up. And now, they had given me the ultimate gift. But I also knew my family. Once they discovered what I'd inherited, they'd come for it like vultures. And I wasn't about to let that happen. That's when I found Damon, a trust attorney with a calm voice and a ruthless sense of clarity. He explained the irrevocable trust, airtight, unbreakable. Once we locked everything down, no one could touch it. Not even me. 3 weeks later, every account, every title, every insurance policy was tucked safely under the trust. My family didn't know it yet, but the door was already sealed shut. At first, their approach was subtle. Belle texted, "Hey, heard you were in Harbor Bay. Thought I'd stop by sometime." My mom called, voice sugary sweet, "We should talk about keeping the property in the family." My dad even showed up with a toolbox, offering to fix the porch railing. But their questions always circled back to the same thing, the house. Belle pushed hardest. She'd drop by with cookies or flowers, asking about deeds, ownership, renovations. My parents floated speeches about family unity. I smiled, nodded, and gave them nothing. Then came the storm. One morning, their black SUV pulled into the driveway. Belle marched up first, all fake confidence. "This house is in my name now. You'll need to move out this week. I already have a buyer." Behind her, my father pulled out papers, supposedly correcting an error in the will. My mother hovered with a smug smile. But I knew better. The seal was wrong. The notary stamp was fake. The signatures shaky. They thought they had me cornered. I let them think it. I stayed calm, said little, and watched them drive away, smug and satisfied. 2 days later, they came back with movers, ready to throw me out of my own home. But this time, I was waiting. Mark, a county property official, stood beside me on the porch. When my family strutted up with their forged papers, Mark pulled out the real documents. This property was transferred into an irrevocable trust. Any transfer attempted afterward is void, and may constitute fraud. The movers froze. My parents' faces drained of color. Belle sputtered, "Fraud? We corrected a mistake." Mark didn't flinch. Your documents used an unlicensed notary. If you try again, it'll be a criminal case. The movers backed away. My parents retreated. Belle hissed, "You'll regret this." I didn't answer. I didn't need to. But my family wasn't finished. Days later, I got a thick envelope, a demand letter from my mother's lawyer. They wanted $150,000 in cash, joint ownership with Belle, and a monthly stipend for emotional damages. Emotional damages. From the people who left me alone at every milestone of my life. I hired Selena, a razor-sharp estate attorney. Within 48 hours, she sent a cease and desist and began investigating the forgery. The trail led straight to Belle. Her name, her fake notary seal, her fraudulent submission. But my family doubled down. They spread lies to relatives, painting me as manipulative, claiming I'd tricked my grandparents. My cousin Maris sent me proof, recordings of my mother slandering me, screenshots of Belle whining about fairness. Selena and I built a 12-page statement of facts, complete with every date, signature, and fraudulent filing. We sent it to the entire family. Within hours, the apologies started trickling in. Still, Belle kept pushing. She landed a job at a luxury real estate firm, ironic, considering she'd just committed property fraud. So I sent the firm every document. 3 days later, Belle was fired. The state licensing board opened a review. Her response? Hire a PR lawyer to paint me as vindictive, destroying my sister's career. Selena crushed that with court-stamped evidence. Their noise fizzled. 2 months later, I got another letter. Short and simple. All claims withdrawn. No further contact. It was over. That weekend, I drove to Harbor Bay. Autumn leaves blazed red and gold along the road. The sea stretched silver beyond the rose garden. I walked through the house slowly, touching the brick walls, smelling lavender in the air. My grandfather's voice echoed in my memory, "Protect what's worth keeping." And I realized, it wasn't just the property I'd protected. It was myself. My dignity. My peace. Sometimes revenge isn't about fire and fury. It's about patience, preparation, and protecting yourself so thoroughly that when your enemies strike, they end up cutting only themselves. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button, and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen in real life? Don't forget to subscribe for more stories where karma finally gets the last word.